Hi everyone. This week we're going to be talking about the Constitution. But as an historical backdrop, we're also going to talk about the Declaration of Independence. Please know the difference between the two documents. The Declaration of Independence was written in 1776, and more or less it declared war against Great Britain. It declared our independence as the United States of America. This is, in essence, the birth certificate of the United States. Declaration is simply a declaration of principles. It does not pass any laws. It is not a legal document. It does not set up a structure of government. But it does establish certain principles of government that are declared before the world. So the paragraph I want you to remember is shaded here, and it's the second paragraph, and it says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government." So these are principles, but they are not laws. Jefferson here, Thomas Jefferson, was the author of the Declaration of Independence, and he states that all men are created equal. We know in 1776 that there was slavery. Women did not have the right to vote. Native Americans were not considered to be any part of the United States. So in that sense, men were certainly not equal. But what they're getting at here is the equality before the law. It's a principle. That they are endowed with certain rights, either in nature or by their Creator. Depends on whether or not you're a religious person or not. They obviously believed in a Creator, or at least professed belief in a Creator. And that Creator's, created mankind with certain rights: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The purpose of government is to protect these rights, and the just powers of government are derived from the consent of the governed. Let me just highlight that for you. This is very different from the idea of divine right of kings. So this is sort of a review of what you learned last week. So from your readings, you will learn that the Declaration was issued by the Second Continental Congress, which was a quasi-legal body created by the states in order to fight, secure money, funds, raise an army to fight the American Revolution. The American Revolution would continue for another 5 years. It actually started about a year before the Declaration of Independence was actually written. So the American Revolution was the war, but this ideology of the American Revolution is what establishes the United States on certain principles of government contained in this paragraph. So the Constitution is written 11 years after the Declaration of Independence, and it is going to create a very powerful central government that's going to give certain powers to the Congress that they did not have with the Declaration of Independence or with the Articles of Confederation that you'll be reading about. So the Constitution is a legal document. It's what we live by still today, almost 250 years after 1787. Not quite 250 years, but pretty close. More than 2 centuries anyway. It establishes a Congress. It establishes a president. It establishes the Supreme Court. It establishes a method of elections to these offices. So this sets up the legal system of the United States as a central government. Now the states will still retain powers, So we have a federal system that you'll be reading about later on in the semester. So how does the Constitution live up to the principles of the Declaration of Independence? That's for you to come to understand by the readings and by viewing the videos. And in your reaction assignment, you have to answer that question. You have to answer two questions. First, let me draw it up here for you. First, you are going to explain the difference between the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. What was the purpose of each document? Okay, so that's the first question. And then the second question is, how well does the Constitution live up to the principle of government expressed in the Declaration of Independence? How does the Constitution protect liberty? Does the Constitution protect liberty? If so, how? These are just suggestions. Just give me an example. How does it protect liberty? How does it allow the pursuit of happiness? How does it live up to the idea of equality? You might think of the 3/5 compromise as falling a little bit short of that principle. And how does the Constitution achieve the consent of the governed? So look at the system of elections that are established. Give me at least one or two examples of how the Constitution lives up to or fails to live up to these principles of government. How well does the Constitution live up to the principles of government expressed in the Declaration of Independence? And explain your answer. Write about 200 to 300 words in each response to the two questions below. Okay, I'll let you go. Let you go to your readings, and I'll probably post a couple more videos as we proceed through this unit.